Hey guys, it's Jen, and I wanted to bring up something that is really important for you to understand, and that is that nothing is really solid and real in our world, and we are all experiencing something different than anyone else, including in a conversation that you have with someone. I just have had multiple examples come up that I wanted to share. I had someone in a grocery store years ago, a couple that I knew, stopped me in the aisle, and this woman told me something that was something like that was very it was about an old partner, like told me something about this old partner of mine that I didn't even know she knew this person, and she's sharing this with me, and it's like jaw-dropping and was significant, helped me to sort of move on in my life in a way, but it was something that kind of blew my mind because she just like walked up to me and with her husband started telling me this, and then they walked away, and I just was left dumbfounded standing in the aisle. And when I asked her about it later, she had no idea what I was talking about. So she didn't have the same experience as me. She didn't even know the person. So anyway, then I had another incident and about a year ago maybe, where I was talking to a new neighbor, and I was commenting on the tattoos on her arm, and she said, oh, they were all around Albuquerque. There was like a balloon and cactus and different things. And she was a new neighbor, and I was just chatting with her, and I walked away, and I thought, gosh, I'm gonna have to ask her about Albuquerque later. And a few days later, one of my other new, not new neighbors, but someone who I hadn't spent much time with, stopped by to drop off some baked goods. It was a guy, and he sat down at my table for a minute. We were just chatting for a minute, and I look at his arm, same exact tattoos, and my jaw drops. And he goes, yeah, you asked me about those the other day. And I was like, no, I didn't. I asked my other neighbor about that, her tattoos. And we both just kind of stared at each other. And I suddenly realized that, wow, like I couldn't even put it into words in that moment. But I thought, wow, he had a different experience of me because I didn't have that interaction with him, and she had a different experience with me because those tattoos weren't even hers. And that woman actually won't even speak to me. She avoids me. So I don't know what the conversation was that she experienced. And obviously I don't know what the conversation was that he experienced. And it was this moment of, wow, I have to like let this go. Like, the old me, the old people pleaser, right? Wants to go and go, what happened? And, wants to fix it. But even that, right? You'd still have a different experience, and they would have a different experience. And you just have to let it go. And these are the moments that I go, wow, you have to let everything go, because what's happening in your world is completely different than what's happening in anyone else's, and everyone's experience of each other is completely different. I even had some things that I asked a family member about a few years back that they said to me, and they swore they never said those things, and I could feel it in my heart, like they didn't know what I was talking about, and it didn't feel inauthentic. It didn't feel like they were avoiding what I was sharing with them, or bringing to them. And it was this moment of, I don't think they actually remember it. Like, I don't think, I think it was my experience, and they had a different experience of it all. But yeah, and there was another, so many things I just want to share. And there was another thing that I wanted to share, that I had something, and it was a time when my car wasn't registered, and I was really afraid that I was going to be stopped for it. It was in my fear mind, but as I let that go, I sort of eased up on that fear. And there was a day when there was a cop driving behind me for a long period, even to the point where I passed a car and they followed me, and they were right behind me. And I stayed out of my fear mind. I just kept looking to the divine, and they went on. They continued on. They passed me and continued on. And suddenly it flashed into my mind, they're seeing something different. They're seeing, a current registration on your car. So wow. Yeah, and my chimes are going. I have chimes. My guides always chime. I have these solar chimes, and they're chiming. Yeah, like, everyone is seeing and experiencing something different. Another cool thing that happened to me, or a couple of cool things that happened to me, this is all just sort of validation for you, was I recently went online and I had this package 10 class pass that I bought at this yoga studio. And I was like, oh, that's long since expired, but I'm gonna just check it out because I'd really like to go back to that studio. And I go online and it's through 2027. I'm like, I don't know how. It was supposed to expire like 2 years ago. Excuse me. So I went to a class and I used one of the classes, and I get a call from the owner of the studio, and she said, how did you get that old class pass extended? I said, I don't know. I went online and it was good through 2027. So, I just used a class. And she goes, who did that for you? And there's this long silence, and she goes, oh, I did it. I did it today? And she's like mystified, absolutely mystified. And I said, well, thank you so much. Without questioning anything. And the funny part is I went to my next yoga class I went to was her class. And she looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. Like there was this energy of just mystery in her eyes. Like she just couldn't understand what was going on. It was so cool. One other example I'll give you. There was a time several years ago when I was really in the depths of lack and poverty mentality and actual poverty in so many ways. And I'd been eating at the food pantry, I was laid off from my job, was guided not to get another job. And I remember a day of just going, gosh, I just would give anything to eat out. Like I would just love to go eat out. Like that would be so amazing. And no joke, no sooner did I say that, but I got a text from a friend and she said, let me take you out to lunch. And I was like, yeah. She's like, or let me take you out to lunch today. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let me know what time and where you want to meet. And probably, I don't know, half hour passes and I get another text from her and she goes, I don't remember sending that. She goes, but yeah, I'd love to take you out to lunch. And she told me where to meet her and everything. She was mystified. She's like, I didn't send that. So I just want you to understand the reason I'm sharing all these stories with you, and they always give me stories to share so that I can help you to understand things, and it helps me to understand things, is that we are all having different experiences. And oftentimes I've had people say things to me, and there's many more stories I could share, but people say things to me that they don't recollect saying, or you have experiences of people that they're like, I don't know what you're talking about later, or don't even understand why you're upset with them. So understand, like my neighbor who won't even talk to me anymore, and I don't know what happened. I just was talking to her about her tattoos on her arm, which didn't exist. So just understand that you are always safe, always guided, and you're having your own experience, and it's a reflection of your beliefs, of your heart, of where you're at energetically, of what you're feeling. So if you can understand that and just trust and move through life and just disregard, don't worry about, things that don't make sense, that, that's really, I want to say too, that's the miracle, that's the magic. And when you understand that, you'll understand that anything is possible, right? Anything is possible because you're having a different experience than everyone else. And you can have all of the magic happening, and even if it's not part of their world, they won't experience it, and it's okay. And it's so cool, or for that matter, you'll have the version of them that can accept it, that can be with you in that experience. And if that's not for them to experience, they're having their own experience, and you don't even need to worry about it because you're having your own life experience. And just enjoy it and trust what's happening and let go of the fear and the worries and stay in your heart and stay in that high vibrational energy and just go, wow, 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 wow. You let the magic happen, let the miracles happen, let the mystery be as it is, because it's so wild. It's such a wild and crazy and fun ride when you really, ride with that curiosity, excitement, enjoying the sort of spectacle of life and everything that's happening, and just watch the beautiful flow and how things happen for you and how the impossible is possible. I hope that helps. So much love to you guys.